Welcome to Mr. V Teaching Math. In this session, I'm going to talk about memorizing formulas for measurement. I know that in today's day and age, there are many students, and teachers for that matter, who don't spend much time on memorizing things and don't think it's worth much. I happen to think that it's extremely valuable to memorize many things in math, and I know that there are many math teachers who do the same. And I would like the students who come out of my class to be prepared if they face a teacher who's really tough and requires them to memorize everything. So I want to show you some methods for memorizing some of the formulas that make it a little bit easier. If we go and start with the formula for the area of a rectangle, we know that that's length times width. The area of the triangle, base altitude divided by 2. Yes, there are quite a few variations, but I believe that that's the best one. And the circle, pi radius squared. You're going to have to memorize these. They're the most common ones, the ones you need most often. You simply have to memorize them. You have to know what they are, you have to know what all of these things mean. However, you don't have to memorize all of these. You know, if you remember what a rectangular prism is, an object like this. A triangular prism, an object like this. And a cylinder, an object like this. You don't have to memorize these formulas. What you have to memorize is, when you move to volume, you have to add the third dimension. This object not only has a circle on the bottom, but it now has height. Take the area formula and multiply it by height. Take the area formula, multiply it by height. Take the area formula, multiply times height. You have to have these memorized, and then simply for volume you need to memorize that you multiply the earlier formulas times height. When I was teaching about volume of the rectangular pyramid, triangular pyramid, and cone, I pointed out the interesting relationship that has been discovered, that these are always 1/3 of these. Again, that lets you avoid memorizing these formulas. Don't memorize them. You take this formula and you divide it by 3. Take that formula, divide it by 3. Take this formula, divide it by 3. Many students, when I tell them they have to memorize all their formulas, get really worried about how much work it is. But as you can see, this pattern allows you to do a lot less memorizing, but still know all the formulas you need. In fact, one of the things that I would strongly recommend when you're dealing with a teacher like me, who requires that you memorize things like this, or perhaps this. Oops. This is the kilometers, hectometers, decameters, decimeters, centimeters, and millimeters. When you have to memorize things like this, when you go into your test or exam or quiz or whatever it is that you have to do, don't even look at the quiz. Don't even look at the questions. Sit down and write out your formulas, write out your little chart before you even start, because it's probably fresh in your mind. And look for tricks like this one, where I only need to memorize these 3. Memorize that volume is timing by height, and I always call these the pointy things. The pointy things are divided by 3. That's how I remember it. And that will allow you to memorize more and do less work.